So I'm feeling pretty good.
Welcome to Unbiased and on the Fence, and indeed we are laughing. I've got you unmuted. We are ready to go. Let's roll with this. How are you doing, Michelle?
Doing good, buddy. Glad to be here. Still feeling good.
Happy
So
Tuesday.
happy Tuesday. Yeah. Yeah. Excited to share today. Been really feeling the energies. So hope everybody else is too.
Yeah, the energies have been so freaking intense. I mean, it can make you feel anxious. Well, me personally, I know it's different for everybody, but you can either feel really anxious, and if you're feeling at all agitated, it seems to magnify that. But then again, if you can get yourself into some sort of blissful state, and really you can uh, what's the word for it? It's just really ecstatic. If you can put your mind in the right place and feel those energies and just breathe them in, it feels really good. But it's really, it really goes to show how much we've got some mind alchemy type stuff going on, and these energies are coming in, and it's really how we're receiving it that seems to really play a role in how we experience it,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. And really being aware, processing it. And that's what I'm really experiencing now. Since May, since like I realized the activation I received in May through Dream, which was where I really experienced, I think it was embodiment. It really must have been what it was. It was a real explosion within the heart, uh, and it allowed me to breathe that in and breathe that in and experience that through the night, the whole night, get up twice and keep doing it. Um, it's an overwhelming sensation of fulfillment, really. And that just, it's, we, this is what I want to talk about again. It's that nostalgia feeling. We've talked about that,
Mm-hmm.
the nostalgia feeling where you get that and you want to pull it in, and that that excitement. And it's like, if you can just get enough of it, it it will somehow explode, like just food, like I've said, a fountain. It
Mm-hmm.
literally, that's what it feels like. It feels like this fountain that just all of a sudden it just triggers, and then whoosh, it's flowing through you. And we just get that sense of it, and we keep getting that whiff of it and that sensation of it, and keep pulling it in. And that really is key, I'm seeing. um it's not nostalgia, it's this, it's this heart energy. Or the nostalgia, I think, is what our mind has been like attaching it to. And what I've really noticed is that the energy comes in and we're like feeling it. I'm like, that's a familiar sensation. Like, what is that? Oh, that feels good. I remember that. What is it? So then the mind starts to go flip, 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 flip through all these different scenarios, right? Is it memories and dreams, and different things come, all these different things come flooding back. And as much as you're trying to pull them in, you get a sensation of it, but it's not the full boom, that you can sense, that you're almost anticipating. um
It's almost
and
too fleeting, you know?
yeah,
It's
but
almost
this
like
is,
just when it gets good, it's like gone or fades away, and you're like, no, 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 come back,
come
please.
back.
That was
And
awesome.
well, this is exactly what I've been working on now since May. It really is
Yeah.
daily. I'm realizing it, and it, because I'm doing it constantly in my sleep. So from what I experienced back in May when I had the dream, it was just so huge. It was like boom, this overwhelming explosion of experience. Um, and then it kind of tapers off, but I was left with this feeling in the heart, in the chest, that um where it seems to have grounded that. So as opposed to it being fleeting, it's
Mm-hmm.
not leaving me.
Okay.
Okay. It's a constant experience that is now grounded, it's secure in the heart, but now it's up to me to keep fanning those flames.
Right.
Okay. But then what is also happening is we're starting to have energy come in. I know Aluna's talked about it too. We have some really big energy. Shrink here have talked about it. A lot of people are. We have the solstice coming up. It's a big month, and I'm feeling that start to come in. So I think May really opened that gateway in the heart chakra, really opened that in, and activated that sensation that we've been feeling. And now what it has been is this process of recognizing when the sensation comes in, my mind wants to go, what is, what is it, what is it, what is it? I'm taking that mind and putting it in the back seat, not focusing on the stories that it wants to tell, silence the stories, put that in the back seat, and then pulling in the feeling from it being here, from it being that vortex energy, that what is going on, download sort of feeling, and pulling it in and grounding it into the heart and breathing it in and circulating it and pulling it through. And it's having enormous effects. It really is. So I really wanted to encourage you all with that today, to keep breathing in that feeling. It's more than nostalgia. It's not just nostalgia. Um, we're remembering our true state of being, our higher being. We're remembering our true selves. That's what feels so good.
Right.
That's what feels so good. We're remembering embodiment to be
And I did
fully
want to
lit,
I
you
did want
know?
to chime in with the nostalgia feeling that went away for me and it turned into something completely more energetic feeling and intense. So the
That's
feelings I
great.
was just explaining, I haven't had that since, I don't know, I guess it went on for a few weeks back when I talked about it. So
Yeah.
where I'm not getting that anymore, I just wanted to chime in because I know other people were feeling that. So I didn't want you to feel like, she's still feeling it and she's transmuting it into something else. And for me, it's sort of, I didn't even realize it sort of evolved into this new feeling. I just kind of took it as a separate thing, but it totally,
Evolved.
totally could have evolved into this intense energy.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's
that's
just
got me
it's
rocking and all this
part of
stuff.
that. That's it. And that's the harmonizing too. So
Mm-hmm.
there's this real process right now of pulling that energy and receiving these downloads, and pulling it into the heart, and really embodying it, and then harmonizing it. And I'm doing it every single night in my sleep. And and a lot of times it's like, this is just like the breathing in and out process. It's just this settling in of this feeling and harmonizing it, like, and really grounding it into the heart, breathing it in. So I'm feeling it in every moment. It's not just a whiff, a fleeting essence that
Right.
I catch, and try to bring in, right? Um, and I do think it's in anticipation and preparation of larger and larger blasts of the energy, which will eventually cause the actual activation that I experienced in my sleep. The point is to actually experience that whole reaction, that whole scenario, sensation, all of it in the full waking. Um, and I'm really feeling the effects of that. It's like getting tingly. It's getting to that point where you're starting to, like, if something were to combust, like, first it heats up, you can feel the gathering warmth of it and the building pressure of it, and then it starts to tingle a little bit, and the tingling gets more, and then you start to feel these charges till eventually something just goes, and it just like that. So that's what I'm really feeling, those tingling, those twingings of
Mm-hmm.
sensation that I felt in my dreams, that signify that process, and that spontaneous ignition of embodiment. I really think it is. So I'm
Well,
really
one of our
excited.
group one of our group last week was saying how before her Kundalini awakening, she was experiencing the rocking and the intense energy at the base of her spine. I was like, oh, I do have. That's sort of what's causing the rocking. It's
Mm.
like it feels anxious or like anxiety or intense vibrating or it's hard to explain. It's really nothing to compare it to, but it is. It's really at the base of the spine and kind of moves up. So if it is the
Mhm.
whole Kundalini thing happening, that's awesome. So I'll just
Yeah. Well, do you feel it's really gone back to the root chakra and the heart chakra
yeah, I feel it.
now?
I feel it all through, but it feels like it's radiating upward in such an
Hmm.
intensity that that comforting thing, like you were saying, a
Yeah.
lot of times we'll rock to feel comforted. It's just I have to move, and when it gets to the head, it's so disorienting if you've got your eyes closed that you sort of lose your spatial awareness, and the
Yes.
rocking is what helps you sort of stay grounded in this
Ground, I think.
reality.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can kind of feel it a little
Grounded
bit,
in
and it
that root
starts to feel
chakra.
mushy. It starts to
Yeah.
still feel like disorienting, but it does
Yeah.
help to
It's
rock
like,
with it.
I mean, we're both even doing it still. Like, you're right. I'm doing it all the time. It's like, it is. I think it's like keeping me in my physical awareness because otherwise I would be, floating. But both of these processes, both bringing it into the heart
Yeah.
and the root chakra, I think with this rocking on the base or the root and that harmonizing and the balancing and feeling that sensation is it's like it's grounding all of this in more solidly and allowing us to balance in it and harmonize in it, and which has been a little more different for me as opposed to the few months before that. The last couple months seems to be more grounded now. I'm pulling that in. I'm still getting, like, Saturday I felt like my head was gonna, the pressure, just felt like my head was gonna pop. But I'm just more aware of moving that energy through and grounding it in deeply now. And I'm impressed. I am. I am impressed with how much is happening. I am. Hmm.
Sology Studios had a guest on that was explaining how you can just ground like we do typically in our mind. I mean, the whole earthing idea is a good idea to be barefoot on the earth and all that, or sit against a tree and all that. But if you're not if you're in an airplane, you can't really do that. You can still do what we do, where we imagine, getting grounded to the earth on an energetic level, and it really
Yeah.
works. I mean, you can
Yeah.
ground because sometimes you might not be in an area where you can. I mean,
I
get your
do
feet
it
on the
I
ground.
do it several times a day. I
Mm-hmm.
really do. And it's a key part of my process that is now allowing me to experience what I experience in such a physical way.
Mm-hmm.
It really is.
And I use
And
those intense energies to remind me to really breathe it in, take that deep breath, take a moment. So whenever I feel it, I use it as my little internal alarm clock, I guess. Just,
yeah.
hey, take a break, because it only
Yep.
takes a second. You can even do it while you're driving. You just don't want to close
Mm.
your eyes, but just breathe in deep and just
Yep.
let that energy flow through you. Connect to earth, ground, and then connect to the cosmic energies coming through, and just visualize all that. And just become a
Yep.
conduit for those energies.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I had to do it, like, yeah, even an hour before we got together today, like, yeah, well, a couple hours ago now. I was like, whoa, starting to really feel it. And I just had to take some time to, yeah, go meditate, put on some frequencies for a bit, and just zoned out. And I just, can feel the energy move through me. Like, if I didn't have that time to do that, it would just bottle up and bounce around inside me. That's what it feels like. Causes that anxiety. It's just like
Yeah, it's
the energy
intense.
starts to bounce around. It feels like those butterflies, and it can feel like that anxiety in the chest and everything, because it's all like,
It's a lot of
ah.
energy. It's a lot to take in, and you can really see. I mean, I've seen it out where people are getting so agitated just
You
out
can.
because they don't realize what's happening, and it's like they
You're
don't
like,
know how to
oh
handle it.
no, this is
Right?
too much. So exterior stimulation, it's like too much,
That's why
right?
knowing about it. That's why I'm glad we talk about it, because knowing about it, you can totally shift your perspective. And have it be
Hmm.
an exciting thing that you understand what's happening, you're aware of it, and you're just integrating.
That's it, integrating.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be like a huge, like, you know, I'm gonna go take an hour every day. Like, if you're not able, it's just even that moment when you're feeling that
yeah.
that you're not like that, you don't just leap ahead. You don't just jump ahead on the. the train.
Right.
But that you take that moment and recognize, okay, I can feel it bouncing. I can feel what's going. Just breathe it in, just settle it in, and
Yeah.
taking that time to do it, do what you need to settle and ground that energy in right now is really important. And yeah,
So I
everybody's
conked
been
out.
feeling it.
I conked out early last night, and then I woke up early this morning at sunrise. I went out and did some sun gazing, and then ended up coming right back and going right back to bed. And I slept like a total of 11 hours. I couldn't believe how
Yeah,
it's like I went to bed really early, but I still woke up at my normal time.
yeah.
So it's like I got all this extra sleep, and a lot of it felt like I was in a coma. But I did that whole wake and back to sleep thing this morning, and I had a dream about a get together, and I really can't even remember details about it. I just know it was like kind of naturey. It didn't seem like ECETI because that was sort of my first thought. But I haven't
Right,
been there, so maybe a lot of times
right,
you'll get somewhere and it's completely different than you've seen in the pictures.
right.
So I really don't know, but I do know there was a get together of a bunch of people, or it could have been some dream time get together that was really happening, in my sleep time. So I really don't know,
Yeah,
but just fleeting
yeah,
glimpses of us getting together, and so it was really cool.
yeah,
And I don't remember anybody from it. That's the other thing. It wasn't like, I can say, well, I remembered such and such person there. It was like I don't. I just know it was a get together of
yeah.
people, that I don't know,
Just hanging out. Yeah,
just hanging out. Yeah.
that's cool. I've been having a lot of fun with the dreams. They're not yeah. It's like rocking. It's very comforting.
Yeah.
Really enjoying them. But I'm really going in and out with that process too, like constantly sort of in and out, and noticing that um harmonization. It's very interesting sensation. It really is. Nothing like I've experienced before. And it just keeps building. So I'm hoping that you guys will start to feel that too. That's what I really want
A
to
lot of people are.
share.
They're chiming in with the energies are crazy,
Yeah.
and we got 10 days until the solstice on the 21st. And I haven't. I'm just now realizing how all of these planetary alignments and things like that really do affect the energies. It's all connected,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll be meditating that day and really enjoying just the energies coming in and trying to take that and getting out in nature. And I think that's a great thing for people to do at least once a
Mm-hmm.
month. I know it's hard to do for some people with work and everything, but just taking that time to do that.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
does really help. And that's been a huge thing for me too. Obviously, this time of year, it's beautiful. June's gorgeous, and I was, yeah, really enjoying it. Beautiful weather, and really felt like I was living in a totally different world. Just all that exterior commotion, none of that. Really tuned a lot of stuff out. I've been reading books, not on technology, and just sitting and enjoying outside. And I had so much energy for a few days. It's amazing, this roller coaster, to feel so much energy and just be out doing stuff, and then hit a day where it's just you get up and you're like, what is wrong with me? That's the amazing thing about this process, is that you can be flying so high and then boom, you can't even move the next day. So
It is a
really
roller coaster
experienced
ride.
that over the last week too. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that about the roller coaster ride from other people too. So yeah,
Hmm.
it gets intense. You just got to ride the wave. It's like we're
Yeah.
cosmic surfers or something, right?
Yeah, it took me a couple of days. I just took more sleep, right? And took more rest, and kept doing that process. That when the pressure got too much in the head, when it built up too much, and because my neck would start to hurt, like everything would start to hurt in here with the amount of energy coming in. Um, and I really had to put focus on taking the break, resting, letting myself sleep, and to bring this energy in and process it through. And then I bounce back so much quicker for it, but it's not going anywhere either. It's only getting stronger. So it just keep treading water, pop my head up, smell the roses when I can, and then you get hit with another wave,
I get
breathe that
excited
in.
about it. I just try to shift and just my perspective on it and realize that what is it activating? What gifts are going to come online? What and I just how
Yeah.
good can it get? Like Cynthia Sue Larson says, you know, I just try to stay really optimistic about it, and that little shift in there makes that energy feel good instead of anxious. You know.
That's, you know what? Yeah, you're exactly right. That's what
Yeah.
I love to do. I like to look at the mystery of it and look at the dreams and the different things that are telling me, that give me all the messages as far as what is being activated, what's going on, because they show
Yeah.
me such amazing pictures and such detailed information. So it's really cool to just kind of put the pieces of the puzzle together and enjoy the process and keep trying to sit back in, in the moment of now, not rush the process, respect the process, my process, and the timing of it, the divine timing of it, and be where I am now in that process, and understand that, and that we're all in different places, like all these different cycles, and we're all on different cycles and different wheels, and sometimes we move the same through this process, and sometimes we're on different tracks or come together at different points, but we're all moving in the same direction. So
Mm-hmm.
some things that I can share, or you can share, maybe some people are experiencing that at this time, at the same time that we do. Other times it may be something that you don't experience now, but when it comes up in the future, you know, on a cycle, then
Right.
you may experience it and recognize it, then to process it and see for yourself what it is, and take those puzzle pieces and put them together for yourself in your
Yeah,
own
I've had a number of
process.
things that you've mentioned, and then they didn't happen to me until later. So it was nice knowing what to expect. And like, oh, that's what Michelle was talking about. It's happening to me now. So yeah, it's definitely
Yeah,
we're all on our own little cycles. But I think it's important that we bring up the whole fact of shifting our perspective or our energy into something more positive. Because I know a lot of people might have difficulty dealing with the energies, and it's just they're really the only ones that can shift their perspective to accept the energies in a more positive light, because really fear is what ruins it. You know what I mean? If you start getting
yeah,
fearful, do I have health issues going on? Or, I mean, any number of things can set you off. Are they beaming us with something? What's with these energies? You know what I mean? And you just get rid of that fear and realize that this is all part of the process. Sometimes that's all it takes to turn it
that's the
into something
biggest part of
positive.
this process, Shane, separating that fear, you
Moving
know.
into love out of fear and into
It
love.
is, it's replacing the driver's seat with the ego, fear-based mind. That's the motivation for everything is based on that, as opposed to the higher self driving. I was having a great conversation with my mom this morning about that, really feeling that switch over transition of how, looking at the point in life where the ego mind was driving, where you make all those decisions, or you see your life in a certain way projected out before you, based on all your previous experience and what to worry about, all these different things. And then we hit a stage in this process where all of a sudden we realize, hey, that's not the only awareness. You have this awareness, and then you have this other awareness over here. So who's this over here? And then we start to get to know this over here, the higher self. And we start to realize that we don't have to listen to the ego mind that's been driving all this time. And we start to learn to say, hey, you can actually take a back seat. And we feel that separation. It's kind of a really weird time where we're sort of going, oh, look at this person here, and hearing this over here, and making those choices more in the moment. But now what it really has progressed to is bringing this now fully into the driver's seat.
Mm-hmm.
um
And really being present. I think a lot of people associate themselves with that voice in their head, the ego.
Absolutely.
And I think the more we're activated by these energies, the more we're going to see that that's sort of the ego is a separate thing. There's something greater. There's something that has a broader perspective and is more part of the whole. And when you realize that voice that is saying I'm angry, I'm bored, or whatever it is, that's not you. It's you're the one observing that. You know what I mean?
That's
You're the
right.
one hearing the voice. That's the
Saying I'm angry
consciousness.
and bored.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
so
that
that's exactly
distinction's
it.
there. And that's
Yeah.
part of awakening and having this broader awareness or expanded consciousness is realizing that you are not that voice that you hear.
That
It's
is, and that's the one stage where we sit, that's the stage where we're sitting back and saying, hey, I am actually not that. Well, then who am I?
mm-hmm,
And then, but I really feel we're at the to the third stage of the game,
mm-hmm.
you
Where you
know,
move to the higher self, that's
where real,
right.
yeah, there's a real becoming that is not, and that is really pulled into the experience in a very real way that you don't fully quite grasp yet, when you're still observing, like when you're still like, hey, so if I'm there, then who's that, then who's, and getting comfortable with that. We're on to this next stage of really bringing that in
Mm-hmm.
to the heart. I we hear a lot of these sayings so many times, in different ways, and it really is when you actually go into an experience and have an experience, is that simple terms all of a sudden kind of open up to you in new ways. So it can feel very redundant what I'm saying. It's hard to express the fact that I'm having new sensations and stuck using redundant terms. So trying
Oh,
to
I totally get it.
express to you the newness of, yeah, of this.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I totally know what you mean. It's like when the word like love is overused so much, you're like, we need a deeper word than love. And Japanese actually has a word like that, a word they never use. They reserve
Mm.
it for just the deepest of love. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And my
Mm-hmm.
daughter who's learning Japanese was telling me, is Atsuko here? She'll know what I'm talking about. But yeah, there's a separate word. There's like love, and then there's like the word you don't touch that's
Right.
saved for
Sacred.
those. Yeah.
Right. For sacred love. Yes. Mm-hmm. There is. There's so many shades of this, and yeah. So I just do my best to try to describe
Yeah.
the sensations, but it's becoming a very physical thing. That's what
Yeah.
I
We
really
don't want
want
to
to
have to go learn Japanese to be able to discuss things,
maybe.
right?
Maybe that's what it is. Yeah. I have to
That's
learn
really
all
funny
these
because
languages.
and it's like I've come across, and I might have mentioned a few of these before, but there's a few sayings that go around that sort of push you back into separation, and there's a ton of them actually, but just a few that come to mind is an idle mind is the devil's playground, right? We've been told, don't quiet
Hmm.
your mind. You quiet your mind, you're opening it up
Hmm.
for the devil to come around and
Right.
play in your mind, right? And really,
Right.
that's what meditation is all about, is quieting the mind. So that's a direct contradiction of what we all need to do more. We need to silence that voice that's always going. But the ego came up with that saying clearly. It was like, hey, don't shut me up,
Yeah.
right?
Shouldn't you be doing something?
Don't shut me up with the
That's how the
devil
ego
again. Yeah,
mind, yeah.
right.
Shouldn't you be doing something right now?
Yeah,
Shouldn't you be more than what you are right now?
yeah, and it's all about protecting itself. It's
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
much of the fear stems from the ego trying to preserve itself and to stay in the driver's seat, like you were just talking about. Another one is
Stay valid.
stand stand for
Stay.
no,
Hmm.
stand for nothing, fall for anything. Have we heard that one? Like like if you don't
Yes.
stand for something, you'll fall for anything, and that's sort of to get you like join a group, join a religion, join something, because if you don't join something, you're bound to fall for anything.
Pick a
And I say,
side.
fall for nothing, fall for
Hmm.
nothing,
Yeah.
right? It's the whole unbiased and on the fence
It
concept.
totally is. It
You don't
absolutely
have
is.
to jump
Stand
off
for
into
nothing.
a worldview. You can stay
Yeah.
open minded, and you
Whoever's
know,
saying that to you just wants you to pick their side.
right?
That's all
It
that is.
is,
Well, if you don't
yeah,
stand for something, I'm like, you just want me to take your side.
right,
Yeah. They're all stories. They're
yeah.
all stories.
Originating with the ego. So a lot of
Yeah.
our great traditional sayings and stuff, you really need to go and reanalyze them and say, is this really good advice? Or was this somebody's ego said, oh, this sounds great. Let's protect ourselves here.
This sounds self-important.
But yeah, there's a ton of them like that. And I think about them all the time when I hear them and stuff, and I'm like, oh wow,
Yeah.
that's
It's a
totally bass
really
backwards.
attitude I want to have. Is that really the attitude I want to have? Yeah,
Exactly.
I know. But you know what? Those simple words made sense, at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
And that's
it's
usually what was said when you're daydreaming in class. You know, and that's a meditative state. And daydreaming is super important. You know, I don't know.
Yep.
I was totally a daydreamer. It was always like, "Will you get
Too.
back to work?" I'm like, "I want to look at the birds," you know, or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. I'm
You know.
making castles in my mind right now. It is way more exciting than whatever you were writing on the chalkboard. I
That's
got
totally true.
dragons, I got, fairy tales, I got everything going on. So, yeah, way more fun than whatever they're droning on about, right? hmm I couldn't agree more. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see what we have here. Oh, Travis, I am so with you guys on all you're saying here. Thanks, Travis. Who will be at ECETI?
Yes, he will.
We've got a number of people setting up to go there, which I'm super excited. They're opening everything up. Looks like we are going to
Yeah,
have the camp counselors. Like we.
we are gonna. I know. Shane and I were thinking we're gonna be able to run free and wild without supervision for a whole weekend.
No, but it's going to be a blast. I'm so glad that they open
Yeah,
things up. There's actually sessions that people can have with James and Douglas and a number of the people that are at the ranch. So you can
cool.
check that out on the website as well. I do have that link below. Also, I did want to mention if you guys are wanting to take the BQH course, please remember there is a discount code. I've heard of a few people taking the course and they didn't know. I put it in every video description box, so save 10%. You know, it's cheap anyway, but
Yeah.
when I hear somebody didn't know about it and they got it, I'm like, oh man, you could have
Oh,
saved a few bucks. So
yeah.
10%
Use the
actually.
code.
It's a cheap price anyway, but still, you know,
hmm
it's like just knowing that they could have saved a little bit. And
Well, it's amazing the results you're getting out of it. I know
it
you found
is.
it really worthwhile for your time and
Oh yeah, it was a paradigm shift for me. It was like it's probably bigger than the Mandela effect was for me, and that was huge. That was like a game changer for me. But just to actually be in contact and you know, gosh, yeah,
really
it's
change your sense of reality.
yeah. I mean, it's different when you know you read Dolores Cannon's book, and even if you like, I believed her. I had no problem believing what she was saying in her books and everything, and they were awesome. And but to experience
Yeah,
yourself, you know, I guess when you're reading it, you feel like she's special. Like she is special. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying like she's doing something we can't do, so to
right,
speak. But
right.
anybody can do it, you know.
Yeah.
And she was really like the pioneer in that field. So I'm not meaning to say she's not special in that sense, but I felt
Yeah.
like she was doing stuff like, wow, I wish I could do that, and I can't do that, but anybody can do it. I think that sets their mind to it, and she's really paved the way and made it easy to do that. So just so people know.
hmm Yeah, that really is true because hearing about somebody's or reading about somebody else's experience and then going and having, such a profound experience like when I had a BQH session, that was really something. That was a game changer too. So even though I'm so open to all this, but yeah, it really was like, wow, it became a very physical thing.
Yeah.
Because I felt everything so physically, like in the
Mm-hmm.
process. So that really it made it so much more real from that point on. I think
And it really is a journey, isn't it?
really is.
It really
Yeah.
is.
That's picking up steam.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Seems to be
like
getting better with these energies. I don't know if the connection's better or what the
oh
deal is,
yeah.
but
Yeah. Practice makes perfect. Every
yeah.
single day, like that little drop in the bucket of just adding to that practice,
Yeah.
um, and doing it and setting that intention. Um, yeah, you can help it. It's gonna,
Mm-hmm.
you ask, you shall receive. So, and putting that intention into it every day, but doing those sessions and the healing sessions, the healing work that I've had done in my life, and
Mm-hmm.
the BQH sessions, those do catapult you. They really do. They really have in each
Mm-hmm.
instance, progressed this
Yeah.
forward for me.
Yeah, and
hmm
there's a number of tools. I'm not saying that's the only one. There's a number of
No,
great tools that might
try
work
different
better.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes some things sometimes you don't realize after, some things you'll see more lasting long-term effects, like notice
Mm-hmm.
how it maybe really shifted something in your state of mind that you didn't really see like the effect of maybe immediately. Like maybe it was an immediate physical response that you had,
Yeah.
but it sort of shifted something, and you kind of see the effects of that, further down the road,
Yeah,
or
even
maybe
months down the road, it's like something
down the
can snap.
road. Yeah.
Something, yeah.
Even with my BQH sessions, like I've had some, or I just put some pieces of a puzzle together again, more remembering um some of my first couple sessions that I had with some of the dreams that I've had lately. Like all of a sudden those dots just kind of connected again. It was like,
Yeah.
whoa, the relevance of certain, information that I received in those sessions. I didn't have the information for at the time when I had those sessions. So that's really kind of cool. I'm sure you're seeing that is,
Oh yeah.
be talking about something like, in Egypt or whatever. And then, to find out, like a year later, go into information and be finding out all these pieces, maybe
Yeah.
about Egypt or whatever it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's and it fits, and you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. And realizing even the different, because I've had a few different sessions, realizing the common connections. I thought they were separate things, but seeing the connections between them,
Right.
the symbolism that crosses over into dreams, and wow, you can just carry on connecting the dots. So yeah, trying a lot of these different modalities and different exercises and things that are out there is a great thing to do. As many free things as you can. I'm sure a lot of us would agree, or
I'm gonna open it up and start doing more sessions too, just to try to. I guess all proceeds will go to my trip to ECETI. So I'm trying to
yeah. I
get
started
money to do
offering my
that.
mind, my time, my mind for free. Yeah, I'm not charging anything anymore. My needs are met,
Mm-hmm.
so donations are always appreciated, but not expected or necessary at this point. So, just put myself in that, you know, service mode to do what you can. Yeah, when you
Well,
get the right
moving on.
feeling, when you get the right. So,
Yeah.
mhm.
Well, I'm going to do them for 111, at least until ECETI, and then
Oh
just to
wow,
raise money to get there. So,
that's great though. That's like
yeah.
super cheap, Shane.
Oh,
Mhm.
well, I'm not trying to make a killing. I'm just
No, you're just
trying to,
covering. Yeah, you're just
yeah.
that which for your time. Yeah, I think that's amazing price. I know anything I've seen quoted at a lot more than that. So
Yeah.
I
So
but that's
email me
great.
if you're interested. I don't really advertise it anywhere. So if anybody's interested, send me an email. Let me know,
Yeah, well, I
and I
can
can
vouch
work my
for you.
schedule.
You
Oh
did
well,
a
thank
session
you.
for me. Amazing. Yeah. Well, yeah, doing that again
Awesome.
soon because you're
Yeah.
a natural.
Thank
You're,
you.
yeah, absolutely. Got the perfect voice for it, the energy for it. Create a really comfortable environment, and yeah,
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that.
yeah, you're get on that, you guys. Because yeah, it was quite the experience. We both experienced the energy when we had our
Oh
session
yeah.
together. You felt it
Yeah.
too, yeah.
Totally. Yeah. It's an amazing thing. I don't know how many times that I'm almost about to cry when they're feeling all this. I'm like, I'm feeling it too, but I have
Yeah,
to sort of keep my composure to keep the session going or whatever.
that's
So,
it. I think it's going to really accelerate things for you
yeah.
because you're experiencing and bringing in that energy and that healing, and with each person that you do, you're helping them to process that too. It's coming through you as it's going through them. So um,
It
it's
really is like a meeting
going to skyrocket
of
for you.
me and the person doing the hypnotea, if you will,
Yeah.
along with our higher guides in this angelic realm or whatever you want to call it, but this
Mhm.
benevolent agency. It's like a huge boardroom meeting or conference or something. I don't even know how to explain it, but
Yeah.
so many people are surrounded by all these light beings, and it's like this huge, it's like a get together of the different dimensions coming together. And
Yeah.
there's just really no way to explain it. It really is like a journey. And I know that all I have to do is help them there, and then everything else is laid out. It's like you show
Yeah.
up and they've already decorated, they've hung the balloons or whatever. You know what I
They're
mean? It's
ready.
like
They know you're gonna. Yeah.
I
They've
just
been
need
waiting
to,
for the
I'm the person where they're like, okay, we're going to decorate, we're going to get everything ready. You just show up at whatever time, and then we'll all do the surprise and all this. So I feel a lot like these sessions are like that. I just
party.
get the
Awesome.
person there, and then they take over from there.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
really
And
is
just
like
let
that.
it go from there. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I record it too, so if they don't remember part of it, they can listen to the
That's
recording.
really an important part of the
Yeah,
process, is going back and re-listening to
yeah.
those, because you
Because a lot of
don't
times you'll think you remember and you
remember.
don't. You're like, yeah, I
No,
remember it all, but you don't.
no. And then you try to go back into it. No, yeah, you'd be surprised. That's the
Hmm.
amazing thing too. There's so much information goes by so fast, and you don't realize all the stuff that you talked about. It's yeah, it's crazy. So that's awesome.
Yeah, beautiful.
Hmm.
So let's see. Oh, to do a session at ECETI. That's something to think about. Yeah, that might be something that we can do. Well, they can take up to 3 hours though, so I
Be
don't
a lot
know.
of yeah, can take a while and a lot of
Yeah,
distractions going on.
and then to record it might be difficult.
You could do a group one maybe
Yeah,
for
you'd be
everybody
surprised.
flying outside, do a meditation or a group thing
Yeah,
for
we'll
like
do
a
some
short
meditations.
version
Yeah,
of
we'll
something.
definitely. Yeah, or yeah, a group regression meditation or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think why it works so well is I don't, I know some people that do it online use a camera. I don't, because typically my eyes are closed and I'm
Yeah.
like in a meditative state.
You don't
So
need
I
it.
just need the sound. I think phones are more reliable than
Yeah.
internet connections. That's another reason. And
Yeah.
people can feel comfortable that, just knowing somebody's looking at you, I don't want any obstacles sort of,
Yeah.
really,
Because
you
it's
know.
good to get really comfortable beforehand. Like I had a nice salt bath and just, like didn't worry about, I was wearing something really, comfortable. Like
Right.
it's
Yeah,
not,
that's another thing. Yeah, you don't have to put
just to
makeup
be,
on
you
or
don't have to do any of
get out of
that
your pajamas if you
stuff.
want to be comfortable,
Just be
so
really comfortable. Yeah, not
yeah.
feel like anybody's watching you or something. But hmm
Right.
I
Because
agree.
audio is the important thing. So,
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. So yeah,
and it's even like that when you watch Alba Wyman. I mean, I enjoy watching the people or whatever, but at the same time, it's really the audio is the main thing, when you're watching one of those other regression sessions.
yeah, for
So,
sure. Well, I'd normally be drawing when I listen to them.
yeah.
So that's my
Actually,
thing.
Allison
Besides
Coe
jump
does that.
on and I just work, right? Yeah.
Yeah, if you look at Allison Coe's Instagram, you'll see all these beautiful doodle. Well, they're kind of like doodles, but they're beautiful. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And it's like, and she does those during her session. She's just
Yeah.
sitting there, and and I can.
Perfect.
That's that same sort of meditative state that I get into. It's like
Yeah.
it's because it's that right brain connection thing. So
Yeah.
everybody has their thing they do. It's pretty cool though.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's yeah. Sorry, I'm out of I'm out of ideas for today.
You're out of ideas for
I,
today?
I'm just like, I don't know. I feel brain wiped today. I'm just like,
Oh no, we can. We don't have to. We don't have to go the whole time. Let me check and make sure I didn't miss anything here. Let's see here. Uh, Pretty dark. Great to see you today too. Oh gosh, I missed a little bit here and there.
I'll go back and read the chat after. So,
Yeah. So
hi
yeah,
everyone.
I'd say that's enough of an update. 18 minutes early, 17 minutes early. It's no big deal. I've got to take my kids to the doctor's appointment anyway, so it's all
Yeah,
good.
that was my big thing to share this week. I didn't have any huge stories. I'm not paying much attention to the news or any of those things really. So I've just been
Yeah,
really
me neither.
quiet and just focusing on my meditation,
Yeah.
just really feeling
I've
those
been pulled to
sensations.
Yeah, I've
Hmm.
been pulled away from that stuff so much too. It's like realizing more and more that's just a distraction. Don't get caught up in the distractions, and
Yeah,
more that keeps coming up for me. You've got
yeah,
something you're doing that doesn't affect you, so don't get pulled away to it too much. So I'm just
yeah,
sharing that because that's come up over and over again. Distraction, and I'll hear it in my head. I'm like, well, let me
yeah.
look into this, and I'll hear distraction. I'm like, okay, all right, I won't look into that.
Exactly, exactly.
Usually political or something. Just not that I care that much. It's just I like to keep an eye on stuff, but it does
Yeah,
pull you away from doing other things.
yeah, but I'm really monitoring the amount like of time. Like I certain times I'll go in and check it out and take a look, and that's cool. Pull out. And some days more than others maybe, but yeah, I'm really having to be aware of that because I find it does affect the energy
Yeah,
and
it does.
that whole pressure
Yeah.
feeling, like all of that. And it's a much more smooth, harmonic process now. Really limiting that, being outside more, you know, just, yeah, reading a lot as just old fashioned reading a book.
Yeah.
as opposed to the devices, right?
And you'd be surprised. I mean, sometimes, you can get beyond getting triggered by certain things, but then I've noticed that I'll see people get triggered and I'll be triggered because they were triggered. I'm like, oh my gosh, it still got me. It still got me. But it's having that awareness, though, is the first step. You know what I
And
mean?
then you
Recognizing
laugh.
it.
Yeah.
And then you laugh at it
Absolutely.
and
And then
it
you can laugh
dissolves
at
away.
yourself after.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? That's it. I noticed that too. And then you just kind of give a little giggle and breathe in that calm, stable energy again, right?
Yeah,
Just
absolutely.
breathe it in, right? As opposed to letting it get lifted away.
Right. But it's you catch it right away, but it's still, you can feel it, you could feel it hit and then you laugh at it and move on. But
Yeah.
yeah, having that awareness of it just takes all the power out of it because immediately you laugh at yourself or realize it and you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. That was
I'm,
self-righteous indignation.
you're like, wait a minute, I'm doing exactly what I'm triggered about them doing now.
Yeah.
It's the same way with judging and stuff.
Let me go.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't try not to get that much of a lift off into that process. Start to, see when you start to go, reach out for it. Just taking
really
those longer breaths in between. Yeah.
And having that higher perspective like you talked about. You know what I mean? Just having that view of that upper view and seeing yourself. And, I think that's helpful because that's the whole expanded awareness thing that we were talking about. And that helps with triggering and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's my thing this week. I'm really noticing is that I have less and less a desire to speak. So it's unfortunate for you guys today.
No problem. Well, we do have.
I'm like, I just find myself being so quiet. I'm not in a need or a rush to comment or say anything. I'm just observing. And I'm really in that right now. So
that's kind of tied to, letting people be where they're at, not being judgmental, and not feeling the responsibility. Like, I've got to convince them of this. They've got to see it. And then you feel this, I think a lot of that's the religious programming. I'm still sort of dismantling in my brain that it's my job to win someone over. It's my job to make them see the light. No, it's my job to shine the light. And if they want to come and receive the light, in any way they can. If they even perceive me as being light, they might perceive me as being dark. And if they do, say a prayer for me if you would. You know what I mean? Don't leave a comment. I know what you're thinking. If you think the devil's gotten into us and into the message, just pray. You don't need to leave a comment. I promise.
The comment's not going to save you from the devil. That's not. That's
all we can do is laugh and enjoy. And you can say a prayer if you do feel that way. So lots of love to you guys. If you didn't see the ECETI video with the information, I did link it below just in case you want to get registered. You want to come out and do the get-together in August 8th through the 11th, really the morning of the 12th. And with that, we can wrap this up. And I'll see you next week, Michelle.
Awesome. Love you guys.
Lots of love to you and lots of love to all of you in the chat and everybody watching later. And we'll see you in the next one. Have a good one. Peace. If you'd like to support the work I do, go to paypal.me/UOTF. Thanks.